all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and happy Monday to you. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 20th of April. India's count of confirmed COVID-19 cases rose to 17,615 by Sunday night, according to a statement from the Indian Council of Medical Research. The apex body for biomedical research and policy said that a little over 27,800 samples were taken for COVID-19 yesterday, and 1,135 of those were positive. The statement also said that a total of just over 4 lakh samples from 3.8 lakh individuals had been tested as of 9 p.m. on Sunday. The tally of infections is higher than the number of 16,116 on the Health Ministry's website. The ministry said yesterday that it is trying to reconcile its numbers with the data from the ICMR. In the aviation space, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation has directed all airlines to stop bookings for both domestic and international flights. In a statement released yesterday, it said that the decision to commence operations of flights from the 4th of May, that is the day after the lockdown ends, has not yet been taken. In more news in the aviation space, Go Air has asked as many as 90% of its 5,500 employees to go on indefinite leave without pay. That's according to a Bloomberg story that quoted unnamed sources. The airline will keep paying a small number of employees on payroll to restart operations when the government allows flights. In Maharashtra, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has said that industries based in green and orange coronavirus zones of the state will be allowed to resume operations, but in a restricted manner. Green zones are areas which have not yet reported any cases, while orange zones are ones where only a few cases have been reported. Meanwhile, the central government has transferred over 36,659 crore rupees to bank accounts of 16 crore beneficiaries using direct benefit transfers between the 24th of March and the 17th of April during the lockdown. That's according to a Finance Ministry statement. This comes at a time when finance ministers of states across the country are sending SOS calls to the government asking it to speed up transfer of resources. For more details, do check out the story on the website bloombergquint.com. PTI has reported that the Union Cabinet is likely to approve a package for power distribution companies that are facing revenue loss on account of lower power demand amid the coronavirus lockdown. This could include setting up of an alternative investment fund to pay off their dues to power generation companies. In corporate news, Hdfc Bank reported its earnings over the weekend, and Agam will tell you all about that. But there's news on the succession plan. The board of directors of the bank have shortlisted 3 names of candidates to possibly take the helm after Aditya Puri retires in October. The bank will now submit that list in order of preference to the RBI for approval. In international markets, both the early risers in the Asia-Pacific region as well as the US indices futures were mixed at the start of trade. There were signs in the US and in Europe that the number of new infections and fatalities has started tapering. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has said that the state may be past the high point of coronavirus deaths. Fewer daily deaths were also reported in Spain, Italy and in the UK. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking at the start of trade?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. It's a quiet start for Asian markets, and it's an accordingly tentative start for the SGX Nifty futures this morning, currently marginally in the red. We start by talking about India's largest private sector bank, Hdfc Bank, which reported a rise of 17.7% in net profit for the quarter ending March 2020, a tad lower than consensus expectations. Its net interest income grew 16.2%. Provisioning for the bank's non-performing assets rose 24% on a sequential basis. This included contingent provisioning of 1,550 crores on account of a delay in collection because of the COVID-19 lockdown. The bank has also informed the exchanges that it has shortlisted 3 possible successors for CEO and Managing Director to replace Aditya Puri and said it would submit its application to the RBI with the names. IT major Infosys will announce earnings today, and while it's expected to report a relatively stable quarter with 1.6% sequential rise in revenue and operating margins staying around the 22% mark, all focus will be on the company's outlook and how it's grappling with business operations under the COVID-19 environment. Jaguar Land Rover has reported a 31% drop in retail sales for the quarter ending March 2020. Volumes for Jaguar declined 43%, whereas those for Land Rover dropped 26% year on year. Moving on to Westlife Development, in an update which says that the month of March will weigh on the quarter 4 earnings because of the lockdown. The company expects to report same-store sales decline of 6.9% for Q4 FY20, with overall sales contracting 1.5% year-on-year, and the company will report a decline in its same-store sales growth for the first time in 19 quarters. Moving on, we have Schroeder Group, which has increased stake in Phoenix Mills to nearly 5.6%, from 3.7% on April 15th. And we also have Zydus, which is in focus, which has received a final approval from the US FDA for baclofen tablets. Baclofen is used to treat muscle spasms caused by certain conditions such as multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury and disease. And finally, we have Shilpa Medicare, which has received an establishment inspection report from the US FDA for its inspection conducted in its API manufacturing facility located at Raichur, Karnataka. Now, these are just some of the stocks that we can watch out for as we move into trade today. But don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and an even better week ahead.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.